Hello, beautiful listeners, and welcome back to Green Earth Essentials. I'm your host, Michelle Jackson, and today we're diving into the incredible world of fungi. From mental wellness to sustainable building materials, mushrooms are having a major moment, a true mushroom renaissance. Whether you're a gardener, eco warrior, off grid enthusiast, or curious soul, this episode will open your eyes to the quiet power of fungi. Let's get growing. Fungi have been around for over 1 billion years, yet only recently are we starting to appreciate their full potential. The rise of mushroom coffee, lion's mane supplements, and biodegradable packaging isn't just a trend. It's a return to nature's wisdom. Across the globe, scientists, herbalists, and environmentalists are rediscovering mushrooms as solutions to some of today's biggest problems. Recent clinical trials are proving what traditional cultures have known for centuries. Certain mushrooms have profound healing effects on the brain. Psilocybin, the psychoactive compound in magic mushrooms, is showing promise in treating depression, PTSD, and anxiety. Johns Hopkins and other research centers are running FDA-approved trials, and therapists are beginning to integrate psychedelics with therapy. Meanwhile, non-psychoactive mushrooms like lion's mane are gaining fame for enhancing focus and nerve regeneration. Long before science caught up, indigenous cultures around the world understood the profound relationship between humans and fungi. From spiritual ceremonies to medicine and food, mushrooms have held sacred and practical roles in traditional lifeways. In Siberian and Arctic indigenous communities, the Amanita muscaria mushroom, yes, the red one with white spots, has been used ceremonially by shamans for altered states of consciousness and healing journeys. Carefully prepared to reduce toxicity, this mushroom was part of spiritual practices believed to connect humans with the spirit world. In Mexico and Central America, the Mazatec people have used psilocybin-containing mushrooms called Tianonacatl or flesh of the gods in healing ceremonies for generations. These rituals aren't recreational. They're deeply rooted in tradition, used with intention, respect, and guidance for emotional and spiritual insight. Meanwhile, First Nations groups in the Pacific Northwest used mushrooms such as Fomitopsis officinalis, quinine conch, as medicinal teas for treating respiratory infections. Other non-psychoactive fungi, like puffballs, were used for wound care, applied to stop bleeding and prevent infection. Many of these traditions emphasize reciprocity with nature, harvesting respectfully and with ceremony. It's a reminder that mushrooms are more than just biological organisms. They are teachers, healers, and bridges between worlds. Today, as mycology gains momentum, there's a growing recognition of the importance of protecting this ancestral knowledge and ensuring it's honored, not appropriated. Collaborating with indigenous communities and supporting sovereignty over traditional ecological wisdom is vital as fungi continue to inspire a new wave of sustainable innovation. Below our feet lies a secret superhighway. Mycorrhizal fungi form symbiotic relationships with around 90% of all plant species, connecting roots, sharing nutrients, and boosting plant immunity. These underground fungal threads, or hyphae, extend far beyond the reach of plant roots, pulling in water and minerals like phosphorus, copper, and zinc from the soil. In return, the plant shares sugars made through photosynthesis, a beautiful mutual exchange. Paul Stamets, a pioneer in mycology, calls these networks the Earth's natural internet because they allow trees and plants to communicate with each other, sharing nutrients and even warning of pest attacks. Some forests use this web to support weaker trees by funneling nutrients through the fungal network. Encouraging fungal life in your garden is simple but powerful. Spread untreated wood chips, use compost rich in fungal matter, avoid synthetic fertilizers, and practice no-till gardening to preserve delicate fungal filaments. Even leaving leaf litter in place in autumn can nourish fungal colonies. Over time, these practices transform your soil into a vibrant living matrix, healthier plants, stronger ecosystems, and better harvests. Forests may look like silent, still places, but beneath the leaf litter, a vibrant web of life is constantly communicating thanks to fungi. At the heart of this activity lies the mycorrhizal network, a vast underground system where fungi form symbiotic relationships with tree roots. These fungal threads, called hyphae, connect individual plants, creating what scientists now call the Wood Wide Web. Through these networks, trees can exchange nutrients, share water, and even send distress signals when under threat from drought, disease, or insect attacks. Remarkably, older mother trees will often funnel carbon and nutrients to their young or sick neighbors, helping to stabilize and support the wider forest community. It's mutual aid, but in nature's language. What's more, mycorrhizal fungi enhance soil health, prevent erosion, and boost biodiversity by connecting species above and below the ground. Forests rich in fungal diversity are often more resilient to climate stressors and invasive species. In one study out of British Columbia, ecologist Suzanne Simard discovered that a single Douglas fir could be connected to as many as 47 other trees through fungal pathways, sharing resources in a way that mirrors cooperative communities. This symbiotic web doesn't just support trees, it sustains entire ecosystems. When we preserve fungal rich habitats and avoid practices like clear cutting or chemical soil disruption, we're not just saving fungi, we're safeguarding the forest's natural communication network. Some mushrooms don't just grow in healthy soil, they help create it. Certain species of fungi, like oyster mushrooms, turkey tail, and Kingstropharia, are capable of breaking down toxic pollutants, including petroleum products, pesticides, heavy metals, and even plastics. This powerful process, known as mycoremediation, harnesses the natural digestive power of fungal enzymes to transform harmful substances into harmless compounds. A compelling example comes from the work of Paul Stamets and his team, who used oyster mushrooms to successfully detoxify diesel-contaminated soil in Washington state. After just a few weeks, the once dead soil supported new plant life, and the mushrooms were still thriving. In another case, fungi were used to remove E. coli and coliform bacteria from polluted water, showcasing the potential for mushrooms in biofiltration. This technique is being explored in post-industrial zones, former mining sites, and urban areas contaminated by runoff. It's low cost, low tech, and beautifully efficient, especially compared to traditional chemical remediation. Even on a small scale, you can use mycoremediation principles in your own yard. Inoculate wood chips with mushroom spawn to help rebuild damaged soil, or place mushroom-filled filter socks along polluted waterways to absorb toxins. By working with fungi rather than against them, we gain powerful allies in healing the earth from the ground up. Mushrooms are nature's recyclers. Fungi break down cellulose and lignin, tough plant fibers that many other organisms can't digest, making them ideal partners in composting systems. Adding spent mushroom substrate or mycelium blocks to compost piles supercharges the decomposition process, accelerating the breakdown of organic matter and enhancing microbial diversity. Spent mushroom substrate, SMS, the nutrient-rich material left after mushroom harvesting, is full of beneficial enzymes, nitrogen, and organic matter. It not only boosts compost activity, but also helps balance the carbon to nitrogen ratio, a critical factor for efficient composting. If you grow your own mushrooms at home, don't toss the leftovers. Mix them into your compost bin or use them directly as mulch around fruit trees, shrubs, and vegetables. Some growers even use mushroom waste to compost materials that are otherwise difficult to process, like corn stalks, straw, or cardboard. In community composting programs, integrating fungi is an emerging trend, reducing landfill waste while building healthier soil. Whether you're on a small balcony or a rural homestead, fungi can turn yesterday's scraps into tomorrow's fertile ground. Imagine growing your home instead of constructing it. That's the bold idea behind myco-architecture, the use of fungi, specifically mycelium, to create sustainable building materials. Mycelium is the root-like structure of mushrooms, and when grown in molds with agricultural waste, it forms a strong, lightweight, and fire-resistant material. Once dried, it becomes durable and biodegradable, kind of like a natural version of styrofoam without the environmental toll. Companies like MycoWorks and Ecovative are pioneering this space. They're already producing mycelium-based insulation, packaging, and even leather-like textiles. One example, the Hi-Fi Tower, a temporary structure built in New York City using bricks made entirely from mycelium and crop waste. It stood 40 feet tall and showcased how fungi could shape the future of green architecture. The possibilities are wild. Wall panels that regulate humidity, packaging that doubles as insulation, and even disaster relief shelters that can be composted after use. And because these materials are grown, not mined or heavily processed, they could dramatically reduce the carbon footprint of the construction industry. For off-grid or low-impact living, growing mycelium bricks could someday become a DIY option, especially in climates where the fungus thrives naturally. The mushroom renaissance isn't just about food and health. It's redefining how we think about shelter itself. When we talk about climate solutions, mushrooms might not be the first thing that comes to mind, but they should be. Fungi are powerful natural allies in the fight against climate change. First, fungi play a major role in carbon cycling and sequestration. Mycorrhizal fungi, those underground networks connected to plant roots, help store carbon in the soil by stabilizing organic matter and reducing decomposition rates. In fact, some studies suggest that up to 70% of carbon stored in forest soils is funneled through fungal pathways. By supporting healthy fungal populations, we help lock away more carbon naturally and effectively. Then there's the power of mycofabrication, using fungi to create sustainable materials that replace fossil fuel-based products. Mycelium-based packaging, leather alternatives, and insulation that are not only biodegradable, but require far less energy and resources to produce. Every mushroom brick or shoe made from fungi is one less piece of plastic polluting our planet. Fungi can even help restore damaged ecosystems, such as fire-scorched lands or polluted wetlands, by inoculating soil with specific species. We can jumpstart recovery and enhance biodiversity, both crucial for climate resilience. One inspiring example, Mycocycle, a company using fungi to break down construction waste, turning old insulation and drywall into soil-friendly biomass. It's a real-world demonstration of how fungi can help reduce industrial emissions and landfill overflow. The bottom line: fungi are nature's quiet climate heroes. By composting, supporting regenerative agriculture, or simply spreading awareness, we can all help elevate their role in building a cooler, greener future. Think mushrooms are only for forests and farmers markets? Think again. Growing your own mushrooms at home is not only possible, it's surprisingly easy and incredibly rewarding. Whether you live in a city apartment or on a sprawling homestead, there's a method that fits your space and lifestyle. Starter kits are the most beginner-friendly option. These come pre-inoculated with mushroom spores, usually oyster or lion's mane, and just need water and a little light. Place them on your kitchen counter, mist daily, and in a week or two, voila, fresh mushrooms. They're perfect for those dipping their toes into home cultivation without needing any special equipment. For a more hands-on, long-term approach, growing on logs is a traditional and sustainable method. Drill holes into hardwood logs like oak or maple. Insert mushroom spawn, shiitake is a favorite, and seal with wax. After an incubation period of several months to a year, the log will fruit mushrooms seasonally for several years. This method works great in shaded yards, forests, or even patios. Buckets and totes offer a compact indoor or balcony option. You can grow mushrooms in pasteurized straw, sawdust, or spent coffee grounds, materials that are affordable and often free. Inoculate the substrate with spawn, keep it moist and covered, and wait for your harvest to emerge. Oysters thrive in this method and can produce multiple flushes. No matter your method, cleanliness and moisture control are key. With minimal input, you'll have a homegrown, nutrient-rich food source and a front row seat to one of nature's coolest life cycles. As interest in mushrooms grows, it's crucial to approach foraging and psychedelic exploration with both caution and respect. Wild mushroom foraging can be incredibly rewarding, but it's not without risks. Many edible mushrooms have toxic lookalikes, and misidentification can lead to serious illness or even death. Always use multiple reliable field guides, take a mushroom ID course, or better yet, forage with an experienced mycologist before consuming anything wild. Ethics also matter. Overharvesting can damage fragile fungal populations and the surrounding ecosystems that depend on them. Foragers should follow the leave no trace principle. Harvest responsibly, no more than 10% from any patch, and avoid protected or endangered species. Remember, fungi play a vital role in decomposting organic matter and nourishing the soil. They're not just there for us to take. Then there's the legal landscape surrounding psychedelic mushrooms. In recent years, psilocybin, the psychoactive compound in magic mushrooms, has been decriminalized in a handful of cities and states, including parts of Oregon, Colorado, and California. But in many places, possession, use, or cultivation remains illegal and can carry serious legal consequences. Even in areas where it's permitted, psychedelic use should be approached with care. Set and setting matter. These are powerful substances that can open doors to healing, but they can also trigger anxiety or disorientation if used improperly. Mental health professionals and psychedelic guides increasingly emphasize the importance of integration, processing the experience afterward in a meaningful, grounded way. In both foraging and psychedelic exploration, the core principles should be knowledge, respect, and responsibility. Nature is generous, but only when approached with reverence. And that brings us to the end of this deep dive into the mushroom renaissance, from soil health and sustainable packaging to healing traditions and forest intelligence. It's clear that fungi are far more than just food or folklore. They're vital allies in restoring ecosystems, supporting mental health, and building a regenerative future. Whether you're inoculating a log in your backyard, composting with mushroom spawn, or simply becoming more mindful of the mycelial world beneath your feet, every step you take brings you closer to living in harmony with nature. If you enjoyed this episode and want to help us keep the podcast thriving, please consider supporting us on Patreon at patreon.com Green Earth Essentials. Your contributions help us research, produce, and share more stories like this one. And keep Green Earth Essentials grassroots powered. Thanks for listening, and remember, the future is fungal. This is Michelle Jackson signing off.